we see someone running. It's Andrew, out of breath from the relentless pace. Sweating, he says they've been sprinting non-stop from the start until now. Moving through the mountains at this speed, he feels like he could pass out at any moment. Looking ahead, he says he figured the madmen would be fine, of course, but he didn't expect Christ to hold up that well either. And even the captain, too. Looking at Encrid, he thinks back to when they first met. Encrid wasn't that strong then, and he wonders how on earth he's grown this much. He stops, trying to catch his breath. As he huffs and coughs, he thinks that he too wants to do more. With renewed determination, he continues running. Seeing this, his bodyguard is surprised. He recalls the first time he met Andrew as the son of a friend. When the Gardner family fell and his friend died before him, he took care of Andrew in his place. Looking at the running Andrew, he thinks the one who once seemed like a child has somehow become a man. Watching his back, he can feel something approaching, the rebuilding of the Gardner family. The scene shifts to Encrid, speaking with Rem. Encrid says he figured out the principle behind that charge Rem performed before. With a proud smile, he says the answer was the might heart. Rem had strengthened his leg muscles to generate explosive thrust. Rem responds that if Encrid already knows, then he should stop asking and start doing. Now that he understands the principle, it's time to apply it himself. Encrid agrees and says he'll try it on his own. Once they reach a cliff, Pin orders everyone to halt. Pointing ahead, she directs their attention to a stronghold built on flat ground between cliffs. If the rear is blocked, the escape route is sealed. She notes that the terrain is perfectly suited for an ambush. Encrid, leaning forward, says it's a trap. Kreis, standing beside him, adds that setting up a trap so blatantly is actually meant to make them avoid it. He turns to the group and explains that the enemy wants to guide their path and strike when they're cornered. But the others don't seem interested in what he's saying. He continues, saying it means Hawk's talon will appear soon. Hearing this, Ragnar clicks his tongue, Odin gives a thumbs up, and Rem simply smiles. Kreis, a bit annoyed, wonders if they are even listening to him. Encrid, crossing his arms, considers whether they should play along with the enemy's plan. Ragnar, from behind, says it's annoying and they should just smash it. Encrid admits he's tempted to do that too. Looking down at the enemy, he says, if the trap doesn't work, the hawk will show up faster. He turns to the group and says that this time the armed force is large, so they will all go together. Kreis wonders if he is going too. Encrid says Kreis will fall back. Pin, Andrew, and Mac will guard him. Hearing this, the three acknowledge the order as Kreis breathes a sigh of relief. Encrid leads the charge, sliding down the cliff and calling the others to follow. Without hesitation, they move in behind him. At the enemy camp, the Grey Dog commander walks slowly, lost in thought. He reflects that this is the final chance granted to the Grey Dog, supporting the Norelia guerrilla unit as they ravage the rear camp by making the Hawk's Talon hunt them. He explains that the Grey Dog is a renowned Aspen unit. Gritting his teeth with frustration, he says being reduced to merely supporting a single soldier is humiliating, but they have to pull it off if they ever want to rise again. The enemy soldiers spot the squad approaching and begin sounding the alarm. The commander looks back, momentarily taken aback, wondering why they came. Surely they must have noticed the trap. What kind of fools are they? Then he sees Encrid leading the charge. Fury overtakes him, and gritting his teeth, he says Encrid was part of that guerrilla unit. Encrid looks at him, puzzled. He turns to Rem and asks if that's not the guy. Rem, unfazed, wonders why he's asking him. Encrid says the face looks familiar. Rem shrugs, saying his memory is too poor to recall. The Grey Dog commander, his anger boiling over, calls Encrid a cocky bastard. It doesn't matter if he remembers or not. He unsheathes his sword with burning rage and declares they'll kill them all here anyway. The commander charges toward Encrid, shouting for him to become a stepping stone for the Grey Dog's future. Encred calmly draws his sword and blocks the incoming strike. The commander is stunned when he sees the weapon Encred is wielding. Encred, still holding the block, wonders if this is the Grey Dog that knows Meech, the one who blocked the banner in the fog of slaughter. The commander shoves Encred forcefully and says it doesn't matter, then lunges for another attack, shouting for him to die. But Encred easily deflects the strike and counters, pushing the commander back. Encred thinks back to their first encounter. The Grey Dog commander had been a formidable opponent, but in the end, he only managed to flee. Encred wonders how he'll fare now. The two charge at each other, and Encred sees this as the perfect chance to test the results of his training. Watching the intense duel, one of the enemy soldiers remarks that it looks like there's some grudge between them. As he approaches the rest of the squad with his comrades, he says they'll smash them. But the mad squad completely ignores them, focused solely on the duel unfolding before them. A Grey Dog soldier charges at them with a mace, yelling that these bastards are being disrespectful. An axe blocks the incoming strike, silencing the attacker and telling him to be quiet. Rem, without even looking, says they're focusing right now. The Grey Dog commander charges in again, and Encred locks onto the movement. He reacts instantly, slipping behind the commander and slashing his back with his sword. Seeing this, Jackson notes that the reaction time between recognizing the preparatory move and dodging is 0.1 seconds, an acceptable passing score. The commander, still reeling from the previous strike, spins around and swings his sword for another attack, cursing Encred with fury. Encred, reading the movement, swiftly draws his second sword and braces himself. With precise timing, he raises both blades and catches the incoming upper slash, locking it in place. Ragna observes and remarks that Encred is now drawing his blade and assuming a defensive stance simultaneously. He's starting to understand how to utilize dual swords. But the commander doesn't relent. Gritting his teeth, he pours more force into his strike, pushing Encred back. Odin watches calmly, thinking that Encred still lacks the strength to parry effectively with one hand. Next time, he'll add another rock to his training. Encred lands safely, slowing his momentum by driving his sword into the ground. As the Grey Dog commander charges in for another attack, he scoffs at the dual swords, mocking Encred as a rookie just showing off. Encred glares at him with cold, steady eyes, silently preparing for something. Rem notices the shift and grins, realizing Encred is about to activate the heart of superhuman strength. Encred's heart begins to pound, pumping blood throughout his body and unlocking a surge of power. With explosive force, he charges at the commander, closing the distance in an instant. The commander is caught off guard by Encred's sudden speed. Encred strikes with overwhelming power, and though the commander manages to block, the impact is so intense that his sword begins to crack under the pressure. As the commander struggles to hold back the blow, Encred readies his second sword and drives it into the commander's neck. Encred pulls out his sword just as the commander begins to collapse. The commander hits the ground hard, blood pouring from the deep wound in his neck. The enemy soldiers stand frozen in disbelief, unable to comprehend that their company commander was defeated by Encred. Rem bursts into proud laughter, saying he knew it would be perfect once the captain activated the heart of superhuman strength. Ragna nods, admitting it's not bad at all, while Odin calmly adds that even the Lord must be pleased with Encred's growth. Rem then turns to the terrified enemy soldiers, calling them iron lumps. With a menacing grin and eyes gleaming with excitement, he invites them to come closer, saying he's so hyped he feels like slicing something up. Behind him, the rest of the squad begins to ready themselves, weapons drawn, preparing to join the fight.